What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Warriors Report. For today's video, I will be discussing whether or not NBA fans belong in the Hall of Fame. I also do want to touch on Nav Bhatia himself. He's got a great story. I do want to touch on some of his points as well. I do want to say I wasn't originally planning on making this video because shout out to Amateur Hour Sports. He's already covered a really nice story on Nav Bhatia's backstory, and it wasn't until someone, one who's supporting this channel for a while, Scrambles, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, but he said, he said, the Warriors, man, you got to be proud of Nav Bhatia, and you got to make something, you got to make some content, and I was like, all right, let's do this, especially being a Raptors fan, but especially because, being a Sikh, that means a lot. Obviously, we both have a turban and beard, so it's really cool to see, him in the Hall of Fame for several reasons, but especially just because growing up in Canada in the mid-2000s, didn't really see someone with a turban or beard on television, so I kind of started to take notice, down probably late 2000s. It was kind of cool to see growing up as a kid, so, but with that being said, let's focus on our main topic for today, whether or not basketball fans should be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now, let's talk about basketball fans alone compared to other sports. We know fans in general have a lot of impact on the sports team, but I don't think there's any sport out there that has a bigger impact like NBA fans. We've seen COVID hit. I've talked to multiple people and they say, you know what, I can watch hockey, I can watch other sports, but it's just not the same without fans in the NBA. And I have to agree, we've seen that as well. It's just, the atmosphere the fans bring. We've seen the last few playoff games from different teams. We've seen what it does. It's just electrifying, and you just get them courtside, high-fiving players, talking to players. You know what, you don't see that in other sports. So I think, although this may be a new trend, we have not seen since Nav Bhatia is the first fan elected into the Hall of Fame. I think this is a great trend. I think things are always changing, especially in the NBA. They're always going in different directions. So why not? You know what? Fans are a big part of the game, and particularly Nav Bhatia himself. So for those who don't know, he's attended every single home game ever since the Raptors have existed. Through the ups, through the downs, all those terrible years we never made the playoffs, he was still there attending every single game. And it's not only that, he does a lot of charity work as well, which does not get talked about. He spends hundreds of thousands of dollars just bringing himself to the game, but he also spends $300,000 bringing kids to the Raptors game, which does not get talked about enough. He does run a charity as well, where he's talked about he does not take a single dollar out of that. He does some promotions. All of that money goes to donations as well. So he's a big part of the community. He's always getting everyone involved, and we've heard fans talk about him as well. A lot of people have said, you know what, he's played with my kids, he's given them gifts. So it's really cool to see Nav Bhatia in the Hall of Fame. Now, he's done a lot of other work as well. We've seen his interactions with NBA players, coaches, and other NBA personnel as well. So I remember when DeMar DeRozan first got drafted by the Raptors. DeMar was actually new to the city, as he's never been to Canada before. He's talked about that, and Nav Bhatia welcomed him to the city, and he said, you know what, you can come to my dealership. You can grab any car you want, I'll give it to you. You know what? So he's done the same thing with Jonas Valanciunas as well. He's been very welcoming of the Raptors players. He's been huge. He's contributed a lot financially as well. He's a ticket holder at one point, so he's done a lot. Now, obviously, we've heard takes about, you know what, maybe Jack Nicholson should be in the Hall of Fame, maybe Spike Lee. I mean, Jack Nicholson, no disrespect to him, but I don't remember seeing him, the last 4 or 5 years before LeBron came. Those down years where the Lakers were missing the playoffs, he wasn't there every single game. I don't remember him doing that. Now, Spike Lee, definitely, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as well, but I feel like, especially with basketball, you have to. I think this is a new trend. I'm all for it. I think the fans make the game that much better. We've seen it with COVID as well. So I think that's the main point I'm trying to make here. The fans are a huge part of basketball. They make the game that much better. We've seen the bubble, as good as it was, as a fan still watching basketball, it was definitely not the same experience. You didn't see the, you didn't see the electrifying environment, and it's just not the same. So with that being said, let's talk about Nav Bhatia. Now, we know his story. I'm not going to dig in too much of it. I do want to make some points about Nav Bhatia. So for those who don't know, he did come to Canada because he was escaping the anti-Sikh riots that were going on in India in 1984. So he came to Canada for a better life. Now, we know his car dealership story is amazing, but it's also because how he is as a human being. It's just not the fact that he contributes to the Raptors or the community. He's gotten, obviously, dealt with a lot of racism. There's an incident where a Milwaukee Bucks fan, a few years ago, I believe, he tweeted something like, you have an underwear on your head. And instead of reacting with anger, Nav Bhatia, the man himself, was super nice about it. He didn't attack the man. He actually felt really sorry for him when he was getting a lot of backlash online. So he said he doesn't deserve that criticism. I think they got in touch, and Nav Bhatia actually took him and his family out for dinner when he visited Milwaukee next time, and he had a conversation with him, and he's talked about this in articles where he said Milwaukee fans are great. They've hugged him, they've kissed him, they've taken pictures with him. So he said that fan was good. It's just sometimes, you know what, things happen, and he's so forgiving. That's the thing about Nav Bhatia. We've seen in different incidents as well. He's commented on a lot of different issues, and he's been really positive about it. So I think if anyone deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, definitely Nav Bhatia has to be there. He's done a tremendous job of just being a great NBA fan, but also just showing a lot of love, even when dealt with a lot of racism. So I think just his story is so inspirational for everyone, not just immigrants, but anyone who's struggling in life. Just keep going, and you know what? Just be positive. Just keep working hard, and that's all you can do. You know what? So shout out to Nav Bhatia. Huge congratulations. You definitely deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and it's awesome to see that as a Raptors fan. Now, my initial reaction, if I am to talk about it, I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit surprising without being biased as a Raptors fan. I didn't know the Raptors, or I didn't know any NBA fans could be inducted into the Hall of Fame. As I mentioned earlier, I'm all for it though. I like this. I think it's great. Raptors fans, any other fans, they make the game better. And you know what? It just, the amount of money and time he spent over the years is just amazing. He's contributed so much to the Raptors community as well. So I think I'm all for it. But before I end the video off, I do want to hear your thoughts, guys. Let me know in the comment section of below whether you agree with me, disagree. Do you think NBA fans should be inducted into the Hall of Fame? So let me know all of that in the comment section. If you're still watching the video, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.